A warm welcome back. It's time for your latest industry recap. We're seeing the delayed retirement of a very popular aircraft at a major international airline, a new Airbus order, and some great news at Virgin Atlantic. Why not begin there with them publishing their financial results for the year ending 31st of December 2024. Thanks to largely solid results, the company confirmed a return to profit with record revenues helping propel the performance. Virgin Atlantic said it saw its profits before tax and exceptional items reach around £20 million. Ultimately, this is a pretty landmark moment for the airline, even if it is a relatively small amount, as they've been unable to achieve profitability for several years. The last time the airline actually achieved that all-important profitability, well, it was before the COVID-19 pandemic, and since those dark days, it has been a steady rebuild to a more positive state. Virgin Atlantic confirmed that revenues reached £3.3 billion, a record for the company, and up £183 million from 1 year prior. Those record revenues were primarily attributed thanks to the increase in passenger capacity, which jumped 7.6% annually. Virgin confirmed that it wasn't just leisure demand that saw increases, but also more people flying for business purposes too. Virgin Atlantic carried 5.6 million passengers in 2024, and its load factors were 77.3%. While this obviously not as high compared to some other international airlines, it is something to build upon. Total passenger revenues jumped £179 million, reaching £2.6 billion, and £1 billion of that actually came from the United States alone. That should really signal to you the importance of this market on a daily basis. 2024 represented a critical year in terms of the paid down debt that was accumulated during the pandemic. This all stems from a loan that was granted in 2020, and the airline confirms a further $174 million was paid down for that in September of last year. To conclude, 2024 entered in a cash-favorable position with $443 million to its name, a solid amount to build on. But arguably one of the most fantastic points for the year and focus was the transformative efforts that were undertaken to ensure that the fleet was more stable and more efficient than ever. In July, the airline confirmed it actually went as far as concluding those transformative efforts by finalizing a deal for 7 of your A330-900 jets, which are part of the A330neo family. This bringing the total to 19. This order also means that by 2028, the airline will have 45 next-generation aircraft in its business, with an average age of 6.9 years. This represents a dramatic reduction in overall age, but more importantly, allows it to have one of the youngest fleets in the industry, especially in the region it calls home, focusing strictly on your next-gen types that bring maximum efficiency. While yes, I take a look at the A330neo as that was the order that really propelled transformative efforts to come to a close, there is also the 787, which has had a long-standing presence, and that is expected to continue. And then we even go as far as the high-capacity A350-1000, which has helped carry passengers into more popular locations requiring additional seating. The transformation since the COVID-19 pandemic has been more than noticeable, with the retirement of many aging jets that were no longer performing to the airline's liking. 2025 will be another important year for the airline, and while demand has slowed in some areas, the company feels it'll be a very much solid one overall. Over to our next story, where Airbus has confirmed a new aircraft order for its popular A320neo. The deal at list price is quite colossal and certainly considered a win for the manufacturer. BOC Aviation, following a new purchase of the 737 MAX that I covered in recent days from Boeing, has committed that little bit further, going down the route of single-aisle jets with Airbus and the A320neo taking center stage. The leading aircraft lessor has agreed to purchase 70 of the aircraft type, with deliveries through to 2032. These aircraft, while for the A320neo, also have clauses included in the contract that allow the base model to be converted into other variants should the customers of the lessor wish, and even BOC confirmed that they feel another variant would be more ideal, maybe due to the changing circumstances. It absolutely isn't uncommon for this to occur, even with larger aircraft, as customers' desires can change, and it gives you that all-important flexibility, when also factoring in that we have seen such rapid development of the A3 A320neo model, it's become very desirable and something airlines may require. The latest transaction, which includes the A320neo, sees Airbus's role in the future of this leading global lessor grow, with an order book reaching 200 planes. Furthermore, it will increase Airbus's total deliveries to over 700, dating back to 1996 when the first order occurred. Airbus calls the latest deal by BOC Aviation a critical step in helping develop the relationship between itself as a plane maker and the leading aircraft lessor. Companies such as BOC Aviation represent a significant portion of the global commercial fleet. While aircraft may not be branded as the lessors that have actually purchased them, they are owned by them. As a result, these aircraft lessors provide solution to airlines requiring capacity on a more short-term basis, but they also present chances, more importantly, for airlines that are not able to commit to planes from the source decades in advance. However, aircraft delivery slots are now being snapped up relatively quickly as airlines prepare for demand spikes and emerging competition. So these lessors, well, they need to secure their slots sooner rather than later. BOC executives say the deal for the A320neo solidifies their position amongst the leading aircraft operating lessors. However, commentary also surrounds establishing important delivery slots across the next decade. The lessor feels that having these A320neos already secured to complement the MAX will help it work with airlines to provide them with the aircraft they require. Over to the last story, where Asiana Airlines has seemingly delayed the retirement of its 767 after previously confirming the axing of the fleet type. According to the airline's schedule, which was further highlighted by aeroroutes.aero, the 767 will remain flying until at least the 31st of May this year. The latest schedule revision sees the 767-300 continue with 2 daily round-trip flights offered between Seoul Gimpo and Jeju. Asiana Airlines extending the life of the 767 comes a little bit as a shock, especially after the airline had all but seemingly confirmed the exit of the plane as part of ongoing fleet renewal efforts, and based on fleet data, well, Asiana Airlines only has a couple of 767s remaining, and these are for the Dash 300 variant and average some 27.9 years of age. This makes the 767 the oldest commercial aircraft in the airline's passenger fleet by quite some margin. However, its life in the airline network was expected to cease by the end of March. Now the plane will stay on a little bit longer, serving just one route over a 2-month period, extending the life of a beloved type that has experienced its fair share of circumstances throughout what is a very lengthy lifespan. Moving forward, aircraft like the A321neo series will be pivotal to Asiana Airlines' operation. This aircraft considered a more modest single-aisle jet and offers the airline many great benefits for long-term flying. However, what's important to realize is the integration of Asiana Airlines into Korean Air will see this brand disappear that I'm talking about today, and introducing efficient planes that now align with Korean Air's target remains something that is very important, making those all-important inroads. For example, Korean Air has always long focused on Boeing-produced planes, and that reliance is going to continue with the MAX 787 among others such as the 777X. But now there's greater diversity that needs to be taken into account, and that is through Airbus. So in preparation for that, Korean Air has been forced to look into the Asiana Airlines business and really decide what it wants to retain. One of those is the A350-900s, which will integrate over to Korean Air and has also been purchased by the Korean-based company too. As for the 767, well, its time in the sun is fading. Enjoy it while it's still around, for one day we'll be without the beloved 767, only the everlasting memories of the workhorse that it once was. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.
And we'll fly.